Hello there, welcome back to the channel. It's your bestest friend, Trippy Times. And today I wanted to talk about Kratom again. It's been a while. And yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the struggles that I've been dealing with because of it. Because yeah, let's be honest, it's not fun. So I've been using Kratom for close to about 7 years now. And I've taken it almost every single day, multiple times a day, for those 7 years or so. I don't achieve any kind of high from it. I do take lower doses. I'll usually take about 3 or 4 grams, but at this point, it just feels like if I chugged a Red Bull, but without the jitters. The only thing that it really does for me at this point is it just helps me to feel normal. Because honestly, without it, I struggle a lot. So real quick, for those of you who don't know what Kratom is, basically it's a natural herb that's gained a lot of popularity in the last several years. A lot of people will often use it as a remedy for pain and anxiety, and that's how I got started with it, was anxiety. I have major issues with anxiety. Well, I mean, like most people do. But I did some research. I learned a little bit about Kratom and its benefits, and so I decided I wanted to try it out. And sure enough, it completely helped me with my anxiety, like completely removed it. And I wasn't high, I was clear-headed, I felt relief, simply put. Now, admittedly, the very first time I ever took Kratom, that's really kind of the only time that I can ever say that I got high on Kratom, because yeah, the way I took it, I wasn't sure how to, like, the best way to take it at the time. So the way I did it was I had like a cup about this big full of sweet tea, and I put just a whole bunch, like spoonfuls of scoops inside of this tea that I would stir up and drink for the next couple of hours or so. So I have to imagine I took a pretty big dose. But yeah, I remember feeling very euphoric and relaxed. Very quickly I learned that smaller doses gave more of a stimulating effect, kind of. So it would help me feel a lot more alert, focused, creative, and again, all while being clear-headed, which was new for me at the time. But of course, all good things must come to an end. So yeah, I'm not really sure how you guys feel about this whole camera thing. I just found my camera, this one right here, and so I figured this one definitely has much better quality, so I might as well use this one. But I really love the aesthetics of the webcam, the way you can just see the whole room and the way the edges bend. I don't know, it just looks nice. I'm probably not going to keep doing this because it's just, I think it's weird with one bad quality and one good quality. So I'll probably stick with this one mainly. Just throwing that out there real quick. Anyways, Kratom may seem harmless at first, I understand, but I'm telling you, it can very quickly take over a pretty big portion of your life. From a physical dependence to psychological cravings, it's a very slippery slope that is extremely difficult to come back from. Now, if you're thinking about trying Kratom, you've never tried it before, let me just say, personally, I highly advise against that. I used to recommend Kratom to people, especially people with anxiety. I always recommended Kratom because it got rid of my anxiety. But not anymore, because I know what it's done to me and so many others. I mean, it literally controls me to an extent. When I wake up in the morning, one of the very first things on my mind is I need to go take some Kratom right now. And trying to sleep at night without taking a dose all day long, borderline impossible without taking something to help you sleep. And even then, it's still very hard. Because like personally for me, my legs get so restless and uncomfortable, and there's just no possible way for me to just relax. And as soon as I take Kratom, like the instant I take Kratom, I drink it by the way, I feel immediate relief. Back to normal again. Not a high, just back to how I'm supposed to feel. And the rush that I get from drinking it, I call it a rush. I mean, again though, it's like chugging a Red Bull but without the jitters. It lasts maybe like 10 minutes. In fact, honestly, I think at this point it's just the placebo effect. Because realistically, I could get through the day probably with one dose, maybe two, but typically, like, especially if I'm really into something, like when I was playing a lot of old school RuneScape, I would take a dose damn near every 2 hours because I was absolutely convinced that each dose was helping me focus. They were helping me stay focused. But of course, that's probably not true. It's funny because now that I'm not playing RuneScape so much, I've been taking 2 to 3 doses every day. So it's like when I don't have something to really focus on, my body isn't convinced that I need it as much. So then where does that leave me now? To be honest, I kind of find myself in a bit of a conundrum, because on one hand, if I keep doing Kratom, it's just not sustainable. It's really not. I can't keep doing Kratom. The physical dependence, the constant need for it just to feel normal, it's exhausting. But on the other hand, just the thought of going a couple days without it is pretty scary. And I've tried to quit before, I really have, but every time I do, the withdrawal symptoms, they hit so hard. The restless legs, the stomach cramps, not sleeping at night, it's miserable. It's always enough to send me running right back to Kratom, every time. So again, if you are considering trying Kratom for the first time, all I ask is that you just consider the risks that come with that. Because Kratom addiction is no joke, and it is very addictive. Even if you take low doses like me, it's honestly not worth sacrificing your mental freedom and your well-being for just a temporary fix. Another thing too is Kratom actually used to give me an appetite, which for me was great. Because I mean, as you can see, I'm very underweight and I have a hard time eating. I have a hard time eating like a decent amount of food. I get full very fast. But when I first started using Kratom, it made me hungry. It made me want to eat, and I could eat a whole meal effortlessly. But of course, now years later, it doesn't do that for me anymore. In fact, it does just the opposite. It makes me feel full, and it kind of makes my stomach kind of for, about an hour. So it doesn't last too long, but still, it does affect my stomach in some weird ways. Like, and maybe that's just because I drink it, I don't know, but like sometimes I get these like little cramps in these just certain spots in my stomach. I don't know, it's weird. And that doesn't happen too often, to be fair. That, like the cramps, is pretty rare, but it does happen. And I'm sure it'd help to drink some water, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. I just need to stop taking Kratom. If I do decide to quit, I'll probably end up making like a small vlog for the channel just to kind of help me get through it, and it's just keep me busy in some way. And of course, feedback and support from you guys does always help. But yeah, honestly, I just wanted this video to be mostly a warning to people who are considering trying out Kratom, because odds are you're probably going to regret it. So again, yeah, all I ask is do yourself a favor and just don't touch Kratom. I just ask that you don't touch it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. And just know too, I'm not here to judge anyone, obviously. I'm in no position to be judging anybody for anything. I'm in the same boat. I'm addicted. But I will say, if it gets bad, or if it's already gotten bad, then you should never be afraid to ask for help. I promise you, there is absolutely no shame in it. Ask for help if you need help. But yeah, again, I just wanted to go over some of the potential negative effects Kratom can have on you. It's not worth it. Don't touch it. I've said that a million times. I'll say it a million more. Despite its benefits, it's not as safe as you might think. People like to think, well, because it's a natural herb, it can't be bad for you, surely. Kind of like marijuana. Yes, I said it. Sure, it's not physically addictive, but, depending on the person, you can definitely form a psychological dependence on it. And as far as smoking it goes, you're still smoking something. You're still inhaling tar and carcinogens. And sure, no, it's not the same as tobacco, but inhaling any kind of smoke is likely going to have negative effects on your respiratory system over time. But yeah, anyways, that was just a quick rant I wanted to get out of the way. Back to the main camera. Anyways, though, I'm honestly going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Again, it's just kind of a warning video. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you skipped to the end and didn't watch any of it, I still appreciate it. You're still cool. Yeah, I know this video might have kind of been all over the place a little bit. It's been a while. I'm rusty, and I was never really that great at making videos to begin with, in my opinion, but I'm working on it. I definitely want to get better, and I want to improve. So feel free to share your experiences with Kratom in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys went through with Kratom. If you had positive experiences with it or negative experiences, let me know. Or honestly, it can be any substance for that matter. Comment whatever you want to comment. More videos to come in the future. And again, I know this video kind of abruptly ended. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. Again, it's been a while. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the future videos. Love you guys. Peace.